Hello and welcome to this video guide on entering time and expenses into ReportAway for FreshBooks. In this video guide we're going to show how to enter time and expenses. Okay, let's get started. In this video guide we have a fictitious activity where you're preparing a proposal for a client. You are also reviewing that proposal with the client and taking the client out for lunch. And what we'll be doing is importing these things from your native BlackBerry calendar into FreshBooks and generating invoice for those billable items. So let's get started here. You select the first item, which here we're preparing a proposal for a fictitious project called the LTE pilot project. You select the menu key and roll to import time to FreshBooks. Now this opens a time entry editor, and the project here can be selected from any active projects. As it turns out, the last edits that we've done were for this same project, and conveniently ReportAway remembers the last created or updated time entry, so the project's already been filled. Now we're going to go to the task, and in this case we're going to call this task Professional Services, which in our test setup is a billable task. So you see that the billable flag has been set to yes. Now if you wished, you could click on this and change it to no, but because we're going to import this to an invoice, we want to set it to yes. The great thing about importing from the calendar is that the notes field gets pre-populated. The date of the time entry as well as the duration are also populated from the event calendar. So all we have to do at this point is save. Okay, now we're going to go back to the calendar and import an expense. Alright, now we're at an expense. We click the menu key, and in this case we're going to import expense to FreshBooks. Again, ReportAway has pulled the most interesting information out of the event calendar. The project we're going to set to the LTE pilot project. Here we get a pop-up because the prior template for this expense entry was set to whatever our last expense entry was, and here we're changing a project. The project has a client associated with it, and it's prompting us to determine whether we want to switch the client as well, and in this case we want to do that. So it's gone to Otterville Wireless, and we're going to say this is a billable thing. Tax on the expense has been set to HST, Harmonized Sales Tax. The amount we're going to change to $130, and we can see on the expense here that it rolls up a tax amount and a total of $146.90. Category is set as meals and entertainment. We could have selected any of the supported categories that come with FreshBooks or that we've configured, but we'll leave it at meals and entertainment. We're just going to change the vendor in this case to be the Red Ruby Restaurant, and we're going to save. Okay, so we've imported time and expenses from the calendar. There are two other ways that one can create time and expenses in ReportAway. The first would be to, from the main screen, simply go to the Record Some Time editor, and you can go in and arbitrarily put in any sort of notes, set up the start time and the duration. You could just freely enter the data there and select, of course, from the set of pre-configured projects and tasks. The other way that one can enter time is to go to the time entry browser, simply select an entry, press the menu key and say duplicate. What you get is a new entry, and if you wished to create some new data for this entry, you can certainly do that. Now duplicating entries in that way is a common feature of ReportAway. For any list browser you can select an item and just duplicate it. So that's pretty useful, in particular if you have repetitive tasks. That's really how simple it is to enter time and expenses into ReportAway. And of course, everything that's been entered and saved is fully synchronized with the FreshBooks service. Okay, that's entering time and expenses. Our next video guide will be showing us how to enter that into an invoice and send the invoice. Thanks for watching.